Greetings. My name is Charity McDaniel, and I'm a registered nurse with a bachelor's degree in nursing. Currently, I am pursuing my master's degree in nursing education. Today, I have been charged with a task and also given the opportunity to talk to you as a government official regarding a healthcare issue of concern. Before I get started, going into details about the issue and where I stand with the issue, I'm going to give you a bit of background information concerning who I am and also why I feel the way that I feel. Currently, I teach at a local community college called ASU Mid-South. And at ASU Mid-South, we have a program for high school students where they have the opportunity to gain two certifications as healthcare professionals. These young people start as sophomores in high school and they progress to juniors and as seniors. Each semester of their senior year, they get to take one of three: CNA, phlebotomy, and EMT, and take the test at the end and to get the certification and get jobs in the healthcare field. I feel that this is a great opportunity for young people, and something as detrimental as getting pregnant or even having an abortion can majorly alter their life. So I want government officials to be aware of this issue of concern so that they can make changes to the laws and also assist these young people to have a better and brighter future, because after all, they are our future. Now, I may have kind of stepped over into what my issue of concern is. However, I'll go ahead and state it right now. The issue of concern for me is twofold. It's teenage pregnancy coupled with abortions. Now, the reason why teenage pregnancy is a concern to me and abortion is because I work with these young people and I see them grow and I see them mature, and I know what pregnancy can do, how it can affect and change their life. So I have some ideas and advice about how this can be addressed, and I would like it to seriously be taken into consideration. I realize the struggles that the young people face. I know from personal family experiences what being a teenage mom can do as far as maturing and changing someone's life for the better, and not always negative. There's such a negative connotation that goes along with being a teenage mom, but there are success stories. Two personal to me are one, my aunt and my cousin both getting pregnant in high school, sophomore and junior year in high school. Now these are powerful young women. My cousin is a principal at a high school here in the South. Her daughter is in college. She does not have a child, and she's 21 years of age. My aunt is also in the role of being an educator. She's married with another child, and her daughter is also pursuing higher education. So, even though I'm not promoting teenage pregnancy, I do want people to realize that an abortion is not always the best answer for teenage pregnancy. And I'll go a little bit later on in this video and explain to you why I feel that way. So, moving right along, talking about teenage pregnancy and abortion as a concern to me, I want to bring out this particular point, that if pregnancy rates decrease, then their rate of abortion will decrease. Because you have to think about it as this: if young women are not getting pregnant, then they don't have to have an abortion. Now, I'm going to give a little bit of detail and background information or some statistics that support my stance. In the past 20 years, the rate of teenage pregnancy has significantly decreased. Now, this is nationwide, and it's according to research from the Department of Health and Human Services. It says that in 2014, a study was conducted and it compared rates of young women ages 15 through 19, which is the highest rate of teenage pregnancy. And with this study, it showed that Arkansas, of all the states, had the highest rate of pregnancy, still with a decrease at 39.5%, compared to New Hampshire, whose rate was 11%. Young girls, because once they get pregnant, they're not able to be selfish and have childlike thoughts. They have another life growing inside of them, and so they feel that if they terminate this life, then they won't have to worry about being a mother and having a child. But what they don't realize is that there are side effects that come along with having abortion. And these side effects are physical and mental and emotional. The physical side effects of having abortion include damage to the cervix, damage to the uterine lining. Often these young women are not able to have children later on in life because of the damage that has been caused. And unfortunately, this is something that's not discussed with the young women in full detail because they're just looking at the immediate, termination of the pregnancy, but they really need to realize and understand the long-term effects. Now, going back to education, because I truly feel as an educator that education is the best option to prevent teenage pregnancies as well as abortions. If mothers have resources and are educated, once again, as I stated before, if they have the resources about preventing pregnancy, they won't have to have the abortion. Another study was conducted about teenage pregnancy that showed over the last 35 to 40 years how the abortion rates for whites, Hispanics, and blacks all dropped by 15% since the year of 1980 due to the decline in teen pregnancy. Okay, so one study discussed how the pregnancy rate had decreased, but in Arkansas, which is my particular area, it's still a concern, which is why I want government officials, you guys, to look at why education needs to be so important in this area to prevent pregnancies. And this study shows that if it's teen pregnancy is prevented, then abortion rate can be decreased. So let me move on to emphasize about education and why I think education is so important. Education is important because if young women are aware of what things they can do to not get pregnant, then they won't, if they do get involved in the act of sexual activity, then they won't have to worry about becoming pregnant because they'll know exactly what to do. Case in point, I'll give an example. On one particular day, I was in my classroom talking to my students about sex and talking to them about showing them some videos about protecting themselves from STDs and pregnancy. And I didn't realize that they were not aware of the different types of birth control outside of Depo-Provera and the birth control pill. Also, I began to talk to the students about the ovulation cycles and menstrual cycles, how there are certain times where you ovulate, where you can get pregnant, and other times in a month you are not able to get pregnant due to ovulation. And these students were greatly enlightened because they had no idea. Now, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services also put out some additional research to educate young girls about pregnancy. And basically, according to this research, that the key is to get the information to the young people. Different programs have been developed, such as Planned Parenthood, to prevent young women from getting pregnant. However, the information needs to be implemented into the schools. The young people need to be aware, and the subject does not need to be taboo. We need to understand that young people they're going to have hormones. Their hormones are going to be raging. They're going to be interested in sex, and because they're interested in, we need to educate them on it instead of shying away from this subject, so that these young people can be prepared if they do decide to have sex, so they can't get pregnant and won't look at abortion as an alternative, as the only result. Why is this issue important to me as a healthcare professional? Teenage pregnancy and abortion are issues of concern to me as a healthcare professional, because I have a right to uphold ethical principles. One principle that comes along with abortion is non-maleficence, that says the duty to do no harm. When young women have abortions, they cause harm to their bodies. And as a nurse, although the whole idea is they have the right to make their own decision, in making their decision, they need to also have informed consent, and know all the side effects that come along with it. So I don't want these young women later on down the line to regret the decision that they made, and when they become married and they're trying to have a child. I want them to understand that the scarring can happen, and you may not be able to carry a child later on in your life. So I need them to understand that also is of a concern to me, because I understand what having a child, how it can change the life. I'm very open and honest with the students, and I want them to be well informed about their bodies and about things in life so that they can be prepared. I'm of the mindset and understanding that if an individual is prepared, if they are well educated about something, then they'll be prepared for something. So based on all the research that I've done about and the proof about education and my personal experiences, I truly believe that teenage pregnancy and abortions can be prevented if we can implement these programs and be more proactive. Let's be proactive in preventing these pregnancies from occurring, instead of being reactive with allowing them to have an abortion. As you can see, that my position on abortion, which teenage pregnancy leads to abortion, is I'm against it. So it's a con. And I am against abortions for several reasons. One of the reasons why I'm against an abortion is because of the effects that it has to the body. Mentally, these young women often experience depression, which leads to suicidal ideation. They have regrets. They have guilt, and also they have fears. Another personal testimony is a young lady that I know from college shared that she had an abortion, and she talked about how she regret that she had that abortion. At the time, she was not thinking about having a child because she was young, and she remembered how old her child would have been and with the child's birthday, and it played a major psychological effect on her. And these are things that are not openly discussed, and limited research has been done, but I employ more research to be done about the effects of the psychological and emotional effects of abortion on young women. Some additional things that I haven't discussed about the physical effects of abortion, which is another reason why I'm against it, is because it causes breast cancers if you have abortions at certain times. Ectopic pregnancies, which means getting pregnant in the tube. Like I said, inability to carry the baby, having miscarriage, and also it can also cause the infant to be disabled. So, more reason why young women should understand, be educated on ways to prevent pregnancy, so that they won't have to have an abortion or feel like an abortion is the only out. Now, additional things that reasons why I don't believe in abortion is because I believe that regardless of the situation, if a child is conceived, that there is a purpose for that child's life. I know a lot of people will disagree with that, but I'm truly of the belief that if conception took place, there is a purpose for why this happened. And I'll kind of touch on that a little bit later on. Abortion is murder. If the child is aborted, then that's the person has committed murder, because after conception, the unborn child is considered to have life. The Federal Unborn Victims of Violence Act has also went through great lengths to protect unborn children from assault and murder. Okay, so they talk about an intentionally killing or attempting to kill an unborn child should be punishment for killing a human being. And it just goes along with what I've been saying about the murder, and there is a reason. And so, for those of us who believe that at conception there is a life there, then when abortions take place, that is considered to be murder. This act also says that unborn children are of the species of Homo sapiens. Okay, and 38 other states have passed similar laws that go along with this fetal homicide. So I really think that human beings should really rethink this decision of abortions and allowing people to have an abortion because they feel that they have the right to make their own decisions, when people are not fully informed from the very beginning how to prevent the life from coming into place and what happens when they are become pregnant and then terminate the pregnancy. A French geneticist, Jerome Lugin, proved that a person has life at conception when he discovered the gene for Down syndrome, and he defends the acts of abortion. He says that abortions are wrong because he said that just like he proved, he found about Down syndrome, the gene, he realized that at conception there's life. Additional reasons why I feel like abortion is wrong, because according to the website that where I did research, it talks about fetus has pain during abortion, and it shows that on an ultrasound that the baby opens its mouth and lets out a silent scream during an abortion. So if somebody can respond verbally, if a being alive, the life can respond verbally, then that means that it should not be taken. Once again, it goes against biblical principles and a lot of different religious deities and religions believe that it's murder. When the law was passed with Roe versus Wade, the decision was made, unborn children were not classified as humans. So, therefore, abortion is wrong because unborn children are, just like I mentioned earlier, classified as humans. And once again, these are reasons why I don't believe in abortion. Infertility continues to increase. And as a result, more women are adopting children. However, when women have abortions, there are a least number of babies being able to be adopted due to these babies being aborted. which leaves women not being able to have children, the inability to ever experience becoming a mother. Abortion babies who have physical disabilities. So a lot of people want to say, well, your baby's going to be born with Down syndrome or this chromosomal defect or whatever may be the case. And because the baby has a defect, then the law has been passed, or healthcare professionals, some of those that differ in opinion from me, saying, oh, well, you can terminate the pregnancy if you want to. But is that not considered discrimination? To say that having a disability makes that something be wrong. So if the life was created in whichever way it comes forth, then that life deserves celebration. And just because the child may have a disability doesn't mean that life does not deserve to be celebrated. And who are we to discriminate against an unborn child if we're going to speak downly or ill, or who has a disability, if we're going to speak down or illy on someone who is presently in the world with a disability? There's something to think about. If a woman becomes pregnant regardless of her age, the responsibility of becoming a parent should be accepted. In the case of teenage pregnancy, young girls do have difficult times finishing school and becoming established in life. However, just as I stated earlier in my video, this does not have to be the case, and these women can be successful. So if pregnancy does occur, especially in careless acts, I am of the opinion that abortion should not be an option. Becoming a parent is a big step, but also it's becoming sexual activity. And if people are not fully aware of how to protect themselves or how to deal with the consequences of becoming pregnant, they should not be allowed to take a life as an option of abortion. It's wrong. What do I want you as government elected officials to do? I, Charity McDaniel, would like you as government elected officials to reassess the reason teenage pregnancy is still an issue, especially in my local community and overall in the nation. I've expressed my opinion about the need of implementation and education. The resources are available, but not being utilized as needed. So I ask you to utilize these programs. Maybe a program can be incorporated in schools for teenage mothers. I would like for government officials to reevaluate the decision about abortions being legalized. In the case of Roe versus Wade, as I stated earlier, a fetus was not considered a human or children, but now it is. So I ask that you go back and you reevaluate your decision on allowing abortions to be legal based on this decision. I also want you to look at the fact that women are using abortions as a form of birth control. I would like for you to put a limit on the number of abortions that women can have, because this is causing harm to their body, and they don't realize the harmful effects, because when they do, once again, want to officially have a child and become a mother, often they're not able to do so. It's especially unfair to those women who are not able to have children. Victims of abortion never get a chance at life. If Thomas Edison was not born, think about all the great inventions we would be missing. If Bill Gates did not survive, he was aborted, where would we be without Microsoft? And let's not mention the guy who invented Google. The world would definitely not be the same place if certain people had not been born and were aborted. So I implore you, government officials, to think. Once again, I make my point. If conception takes place, there is a purpose for life. We should not be the ones to decide whether or not that life comes forth, regardless of who is caring for it. There are many other great people who exist in this world, who have made great impact on the world, that would not be here had they been aborted. So I ask you, government officials, if you had been aborted, who would do the job that you've done? Think about it. I thank you for this opportunity. I thank you for listening to me discuss my position on teenage pregnancies and abortion. And I sincerely hope that you consider taking these things, putting these things in place.